Hey guys,
How
do we do this?
Oh,
I'm sliding everywhere. My hair is still just nutty. I don't know. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Wait, am I supposed to look at myself or am I supposed to look at the camera? The camera. But I keep looking at myself.
I can't look at the camera.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
look
gonna
in
try.
general.
We're gonna just look over here.
Yeah.
Welcome back to our channel. This is going to be the beginning of the next 2 years.
Crazy.
And we're actually going to stick with it. We're going to really try to stick with it.
We have created a TikTok. We're going to be posting Reels. We have our Instagram and YouTube, obviously.
Yep.
And we're going to be really going at it this time.
Yep. It's all linked in the description.
Below, yes.
Yay.
And so this is us just documenting our journey.
Mm-hmm.
You saw a little bit of before we got into PA school, so now we are actually in.
We are officially
and
in
the
PA
content will be
school.
more actually PA related.
We start in August.
Yeah, we start the end of August, and we have our white coat ceremony beginning of August, so we're really excited about that.
We'll vlog, don't worry.
Yes.
Don't worry.
It'll feel more real once we have that. We've already been interviewed, we already got our acceptance letters, we're in, and we just finished our undergrad a week ago.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
The purpose of this video is to kind of explain our journey a little bit because we did it very differently. So typically to be a PA, you need to do your bachelor's degree and then 2 to 3 years of PA school. But we ended up doing an accelerated program right out of high school. So that's very different. But basically our program, we go to the University of Detroit Mercy, and it's an entry-level program, meaning you get in right out of high school. And so we do 3 years of undergrad in biology and then 2 years in physician assistant studies, right?
Yep.
And I lost my train of thought, but you can go.
But yeah, so we basically have had the privilege of already having our seat reserved in PA school, UDM's PA school, since we were seniors in high school, which is such an amazing privilege. And we honestly didn't realize how blessed we were to have this opportunity until we had our orientation for PA school, and they told us that the acceptance rate is around 2.5%.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy, like truly crazy. We didn't realize how competitive it is, and the PA field has grown like so much over the past probably 5 years, and so we just can't wait.
And UDM is the only school in Michigan that offers an accelerated track, but there are a bunch all over the country, like Duke, Emory. We looked it up. University of Iowa, I think, has one.
Baylor,
yes,
and a bunch. So there's at least 10 that we saw. So there's a lot available.
Yeah,
but
so you can look for different programs around you. But in Michigan, the only one is UDM. So we just wanted to start by kind of explaining a little bit of the general overview of how this program works. And then we'll kind of dive into our personal experiences. But Kendall, tell us a little bit about how we get from undergrad to PA school and the requirements that we have to have in order to advance into the graduate phase.
So in undergrad, our 3 years of undergrad, we need to maintain certain levels of our GPA in order to stay in our program. And what we need is a 3.5 overall GPA and a science GPA of 3.3. So they kind of weigh out differently. And so the science ones are more important, obviously, because that's the field that we're going into. We also need 1,000 patient contact hours by July of going into PA school. So that would be this July for us.
Yes.
Because we started in 2021 and now we're into 2024. And for the GRE, we need to have that completed by application date, which is January of the year that you're going to be applying. And you need at least a 291, and this is all for UDM. So it could be different for each school. There are also different prerequisites you have to take. For Detroit Mercy, it's physiology, microbiology, the microbiology lab, biostats.
Developmental psych.
Yeah, some are really random, like healthcare ethics is one. But again, each school is very different. So if you're applying to many schools, like make sure to look that up because it varies a lot.
Yes.
But what a nice tool that we have that we were able to use is Casper. So Casper is an online kind of an...
That's Caspa. You apply Caspa.
Oh. Okay, there's two different things that sound exactly the same for some reason. Caspa is the application process.
Yes.
So you can put
this
in...
is like for every PA student.
Yeah, every PA student can do this. You can put in your general information, like...
It's like the Common App, but for PA schools.
Yes, and it's really nice. It makes it really easy, especially if you're applying to 10 to 12 schools, which I think is the average. But then, I guess for our school, sorry, this is Casper. It's kind of a, what would you call it?
It's like a
ethics?
situational ethics-based exam where you literally sit in front of a camera and you have 30 seconds to think about a situation, and then like it gives you the situation, you have to respond for like a minute.
Yeah, it's
and,
either
like, what you would
written
do.
or speaking.
Yeah.
But it's not hard. You don't even
No.
need to study for that. They say not to because it's
Right.
just supposed to be your own morals. And then so we have to do that. For UDM, it's required, but there's no score needed.
Correct.
And it's percentile, so it's like 25, 50, 75, and 100, I think.
I don't even remember what I got.
Yeah, neither do I. You just have to take it. That might change, though, because they just made it required for UDM recently.
Mm-hmm.
But for sure, the GRE is required, and you need a 291 minimum.
Which is pretty low for a PA
Yes.
school.
So that's...
We didn't study at all. We
No.
will preface it with that. Like, knowing that we were into PA school, we didn't have to do a lot of things or focus on, like, applications. Like, if you're actually going the normal route for PA school, you have to apply to 10 to 12 schools, which is thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Editing your personal statement, you have to spend a lot of time and money doing that. So there's just things that because we did an accelerated track, we didn't actually have to focus on very much.
Which we're really grateful for,
Yes.
because even in the GRE, you want a competitive score
Correct.
in order to get into PA schools, to get your foot in the door. And then lastly, once you apply, they will hopefully send you an interview notification. And so for us, our interview was this past February.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in person. They just, 2 staff members sat you down, asked some questions. Why PA? Why not MD?
Mm-hmm.
Why Detroit Mercy? And it was pretty
It was pretty
normal.
straightforward.
Yeah, straightforward.
Yeah.
And now we're here. We've been accepted. We have our letters, and we are super excited.
Yes. So in terms of undergrad, obviously that is the first 3 years, and they kind of differ each year. So I would say freshman year was the easiest. Coming out of, we both went to very rigorous high schools. And so freshman year was pretty straightforward. It was just Gen Bio, Gen Chem, and those typical writing classes, etc. The sophomore year was a lot harder. We had orgo, we had anatomy, we had biostats. It was just really time consuming. It was actually really, really hard.
Yeah, there were labs. We had double labs because we had orgo lab and what was the other lab we had? Chem lab? No.
Orgo lab and
We only had one lab.
I don't know.
Oh, never mind. We had one lab, but it was a lot because we were in so many classes. We were there one of the days from like 7:30 because we had to get there early to at least 5.
Yeah, it was so long.
It was very long, and orgo was not fun.
It was not our favorite at all. She was good at it though.
No.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were.
We struggled. We struggled, but we made it.
Yeah, we made it. And then we decided to do, in the summer, physics. We did do it through UDM, but sometimes you can do it through a community college. And it was the smartest decision because then this past year, it was way lighter of a workload. It was much better. We didn't have to focus on physics with everything else because this past year, junior year, we had very difficult classes. I would say that these were really difficult, but I didn't feel as stressed as sophomore year.
The content themselves, you had to really study. It was pretty rigorous.
Yeah.
But we weren't in class for, 8 hours straight.
No.
We had a very nice light schedule. We only had Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 hours.
Right.
Except the Wednesday we were there a little bit longer with lab. But yeah, taking that physics in the summer really saved us because we would have had double lab, double lecture, triple lecture actually.
Not good.
And also this third year, we had 4 or 5 classes, and they all were prereqs.
Yes.
So that's something to consider when you're going into the third year, if you're doing this 5-year track, because you might want to take the physics in the summer, just so you can prioritize these 4 classes, because they're the most essential to getting into PA school.
And you have to get a B in those prereqs, which for us, we were panicked about it, but it wasn't actually that awful. But, I mean, these prereqs, was cell and molecular prereq?
No.
No. So we had, cell and molecular, micro, physiology, and then we took pathophysiology, which you don't have to take, but we wanted to kind of try and get ahead for PA school because we do take pathophys, and we'd heard really great things about the professor and just wanting to jump ahead if we could. But
yeah,
I
think it was beneficial as well.
Oh, it was so beneficial. Yeah, and then it connected really well with physio. So when we actually took pathophys before physio, and patho helped a lot with knowing what was going on in physio.
Yeah, and it just helped with understanding the diseases that came from the physiology of how the body works.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were panicked. We would call every single morning on the way to school and we'd be like, it's okay. It'll all work out. We had to tell ourselves that every single day in order to believe we could do it, but we did it just fine.
We did it, yes.
We're also dramatic, but
yeah.
we all know that.
Microbiome was our hardest, probably, class.
I would say microbiome was so difficult because I'm pretty good at memorizing, and I think you can say the same, but when you're memorizing facts that just simply don't make sense or apply to anything that, like, we'll really be doing in the future, like basidiomycota, like, what is that? I don't really know.
No clue.
So,
Basidiosspores.
yeah, it was just hard to memorize those facts about things that don't really make sense. But then I would say, like, physio, it was hard. It was a lot of information to remember, but it was useful, and then it was a lot of processes, so we could, like, think through everything.
Yes, and it was applicable to ourselves. Like, we were learning about the human body, whereas in micro, we're learning about bacteria.
Right.
We can't, I mean, yes, it's important for healthcare because that's what causes the pathology, but it was just so hard to relate.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you'll find when taking some of these classes is that some you can click to and, like, you really like, and then some you just have to power through.
Yep. We did it.
What we did.
We powered through.
Okay, so we're just going to go over the timeline a bit of when we heard about the UDMPA program, how we applied, when we applied, and then all the way into applying for actual, like, PA school while we're in undergrad. So first, while we were in high school, we were seniors, we heard about UDM's PA, and we applied you have to apply by around November. And so for us, we were 2021 graduates, so that was November of 2020, right?
2020, yes.
Yeah. And then we were waitlisted in March of 2021. And so that's one thing we actually want to touch on.
I was so sad.
We were so sad.
Sad.
This was our top school we wanted to go to. We wanted to be in this 5-year program. And we heard in March and it said we were waitlisted.
And we were like,
we were so
no
depressed. No. By April of 2021, we had found out we were accepted.
Yay.
And actually, I think one thing is that when you're on the wait list, there's a great chance that you'll be accepted because people will, say no to the offer, go to different schools, and so that's what I know. So if you're on the wait list, stay hopeful, because there's a good chance you'll be accepted still. And then our undergrad started in August of 2021, so that's when our first 3 years were going.
That's when we met.
I know, yes. We met PTV, yes, and
I was scared.
We were strangers.
Yeah.
Backstory, I left her on red.
Yeah, we were literally DMing, and she just decides to like my message and move on. And I was like, okay.
And then we rekindled our relationship.
Very quickly.
And then ever since then, it's been
love of my life.
Hysteria. Fast forward now, we're in our 3rd year of undergrad. We have our orientation in September of 2023. So this orientation was put on by the head of our PA school. And she was able just to give us a pamphlet, a slideshow of everything that we need to know about what we're getting into, the application process, and things like that. So that was in September of 2023. So the first 2 years, we kind of were
in the dark.
Yeah, in the dark. And that was fine because we weren't doing anything towards going to PA school. We just need to make sure to maintain our average of whatever. So that's all you really need to do for those first 2.5 years. And we are recommended to apply for PA school
through CASPA.
Through CASPA, yeah, by November 2023. And so each school is different. I know that. So UDM, they start PA school in August, where I know Wayne State starts in May. So it's obviously different for each school. But for us, we needed to apply. They recommended starting CASPA at least or finishing it by November. And then the due date was January 2024. Yes. And so by then you need to have everything submitted and done.
Yep.
And then we had our interview request by January of 2024. So they sent out an email saying, basically, please sign up for your interview at this date. And then we had our interview mid-February, and it was pretty simple process, very straightforward. Like 20 minutes?
Yeah, shorter, but...
And then we were accepted mid-April. So we got our acceptance letters by email, and then they also sent it to your house or your address. So that was really cool. And now we're going to be... We completed our undergrad in April, and we'll be starting end of August, so we are so excited.
We are so excited. Okay, we had to adjust the recording because the battery was going to die.
We didn't want to lose all our video.
We didn't want to lose all of that. Admission requirements.
Yes, you can
from high school. Yes. So the program, the accelerated program, is for people that are coming out of high school, so you have to be a senior in high school. The test scores that are required, you need at least a 26 on the ACT or a 1240 on the SAT. So pretty high scores. And then your high school GPA needs to be a 3.5 or above. And your math and science GPA needs to be a 3.5 or above. So It's definitely difficult. It's very
Yes.
rigorous, very competitive. So then you'll be invited to apparently this is in person for us because it was COVID, we did it online. But there's like an essay and an interview. So we did our interview virtually, and then our essay was just kind of like we had to send it in. But you have to come in and write, and it's probably going to be something about like why you want to do PA or what you know about the role of a PA. So super straightforward, but definitely nerve-wracking. I remember being so nervous for my interview.
Yes, I know, me too. And it just felt so weird because ours was on Zoom.
Yes.
And so you're just waiting for them to join.
Yeah, you're like,
oh no.
Hello.
Yes, and it's going to be probably 2 people from the PA staff.
Yes.
Which I think you had as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can't really say what it's like going in person, but I'm sure it's the same thing.
So we thought we would share our stats because I know like I was always very curious about things like that as a senior in high school. So yeah, we can kind of share a little bit about how we got in, what we had been doing prior, GPA, test scores, etc.
Yeah, so for me, for my high school GPA, I had a 4.0, which was unweighted. I took some AP classes such as AP Biology, Statistics, Government, Microeconomics, Macroeconomics, and AP English Literature. So definitely a few AP classes, which helps you to boost your GPA as well, which is always nice. I also did this thing called the AP Capstone Diploma, where you take these classes, AP Seminar and AP Research. You guys can look into it if you want to. It kind of just helps you distinguish yourself from other applicants and helps you with your writing skills and research skills, which is really good for college papers and things like that. I had a 27 on my ACT, so honestly, it's not that good. It's barely over the it's barely over the whatever requirement, and like I've done perfectly fine in college.
Test scores are not everything.
No, so definitely don't be too stressed if you didn't get the score you want, because it's so different than actually studying for exams and stuff. It's not the same at all. And so I'm a little bit unique in that when I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to do something in the medical field. So I actually was able... Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because you go, I'm a little bit unique. Maybe like my experience is a little unique. I'm a little bit unique. Anyways, continue.
Okay, my experience is a little bit unique because I was able to work in the healthcare setting when I was in high school. So I actually was able to work in an internal medicine office as a medical assistant when I was really young. Looking back, I was summer going into junior year of high school. So I was, I think 15, because I'm young for my age. So I was 15 years old going into this, which was kind of crazy thinking back. But it was really great for my healthcare experience, bedside manner, making sure that I actually wanted to do. Being a PA or being in the healthcare profession. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even think I knew about UDM's PA program when I started this healthcare experience. I was able to do a lot of things such as EKGs, PFTs.
As a senior?
What?
As a senior in high school?
Yeah. Not even, yeah, going into junior year.
Going into junior year?
Yes, I was 15. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was able to do EKGs, PFTs, taking patients' vitals, giving injections. It's actually crazy.
At 15? I would not want a 15-year-old.
No, and everyone would always ask, how old are you? Or, yeah, and I'm just saying, oh, I'm going to be a junior. Oh, in college? No. Yeah, kind of crazy. But yeah, it was really great to just see the medical field in general and how it works. And I was actually able to get 300 of my hours before I even needed to... Before I even knew I needed hours. So that really helped get me a leg up. But yeah, I think, I don't know, just making sure that you know you want to be in the medical field when you apply to this program, because obviously a lot of people change their majors, but with this program you can't. Or if you do, then you're gonna, I don't know, it's not as easy. So yeah, make sure that you know you want to be in this field, because you have to know early on.
This is the third battery.
I feel like every time I watch vlogs, they always talk about the battery.
I know.
Okay,
moving on to my high school experience. So I went to a high school that was International Baccalaureate, or IB. So I graduated with my IB diploma, which is, the only way I can describe it is it's kind of like AP but international. So like the students in China, I think, are learning the same things as us. It's confusing. But I graduated with a 4.0 unweighted GPA, And my ACT, I got a 32. I took it twice, but I got a 32 overall on the second time. And I actually am not unique because this is the fourth battery. Okay, where was I? Oh, I'm not unique because I had no experience at all in the medical field. My parents are not in the medical field. I had no clue what I was doing, honestly. Like, if I look back on it, like, I knew I wanted to be a PA, but I don't know how I knew that because I had no clue what it was like to work in the medical setting. So, yeah, I just kind of applied kind of blindly, knowing that I was interested in it, but I had no experience. So that was a little bit different, and I think, like, if you think about the other people in our program, I think they had some sort of experience prior to entering undergrad.
So for me, for undergrad, since we've now been done, for both of us, actually, our GRE, we can't remember what we got. It was high 200s, low 300s, and that's not great. But
no, it's not.
For us in our program, we just needed 291 to get in. So
correct.
Obviously, if you're going to be trying to be competitive, try to reach for a little bit higher than that. And for me in particular, for my GPA, this is the overall GPA. We didn't figure out our science GPA, but for us, or for me, I had a 3.95, and that was with some, mostly all A's and then a few A minuses in there sprinkled in. And for my patient care experience, I was able to, actually this was in high school, I was able to volunteer at Beaumont Hospital in the nutritional services department, which was a cool thing because most of my other healthcare experience is in a doctor's office. So this was a little bit different. And I already said my internal medicine experience in high school, and then in my undergraduate experience, I worked in an allergy and asthma office as a medical assistant. And it's very easy to get your patient care hours. Everywhere is hiring, and you don't need to have the certified MA.
That's one thing to know.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Don't need to. They will train you on the job.
Yeah. So honestly, just go on Indeed and find some place. And I was able to actually work somewhere where I knew someone. So if you have a connection or you really like this one doctor's office or you know someone, it doesn't hurt to ask because they're usually always looking for a medical assistant. At my allergy and asthma office, I do lots of allergy tests, lots of immunotherapy injections. I'm trying to think. A lot of stuff like penicillin testing, all the things with allergy and asthma.
So interesting.
Yeah, it actually is. And this is actually a way that you can see which fields you're interested in as well. And then volunteering, they do, for your application process, they do like you having volunteering experience. They'll ask you that for the interview. And we both actually volunteered at Grace Centers of Hope in the kitchen.
Yep.
We helped serve food and make the food, and I volunteered at church for certain events. Yeah, you just want to make sure you can have something to say.
Yeah. For me, I finished with a 3.93 for undergrad, so again, all A's and A minuses. My patient care experience, so basically, like I said, I had no experience at all. So what I did is I went on Indeed and I applied to all sorts of different places that were hiring medical assistants, and then I actually like DM'd them and said like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and I got a lot of different responses. So at first, I ended up working at an urgent care, and I did not like that specialty at all. And this was kind of during like the Omicron surge of COVID, so it was a lot of COVID testing. It wasn't my thing, but I did vitals and things like that. And then I started looking for something for the summer, and so for the past 2 summers, I've been working at a hand and wrist specialist surgeon, orthopedics, and it's great. Like, I learned how to take out sutures, draw up injections, take off casts, vitals, of course. And then recently I got a job at an OBGYN, which I absolutely loved. It was so nice learning just all sorts of different things with like pregnant moms, and it's so cute. But what else did I do there? Just assisting in procedures, different like colposcopies and different biopsies that was really cool. I learned to give shots. Yeah, there was a lot that I actually learned there. So I got a lot of different exposure to different settings. So it's never hurts to ask. It never hurts to be like, hey, this is what I can do. I can only come in 1 day a week, but do you have any opportunities for me to either shadow? Shadowing for us does not count for hours.
Volunteering does, though.
Volunteering does.
I would say shadowing does and volunteering does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was great. I loved it. And then in terms of volunteer experience, I volunteer weekly at church and things like that, but I did go on 2 trips to Costa Rica and Nicaragua for just service trips, mission trips, and that was great. So lots of different things. It's really cool how like we have such different paths, but there's a lot of variety that you can end up doing.
Yeah. And it's pretty easy to get your 1,000 patient contact hours because there's so many places hiring.
Correct.
Yeah.
My hair is getting crazier by the second.
Overall, this is just the best decision we've ever made getting into this 5-year PA program. With the 2.5% acceptance rate, we are just so grateful and blessed for the opportunity, and especially being done with undergrad in 3 years as well. There's just so many benefits to it.
And financially, it made so much more sense.
Yes. Oh, and we're both living at home. So we forgot to say that. We're both living at home, so we've saved a ton of money from that and finishing undergrad early and not having to wait a year or two to get into PA school. So.
And we did get good scholarships. So our scholarship obviously applied to undergrad, and then we get a little bit towards PA school, which is nice because UDM's PA school is a lot more expensive because it is a private school. So we got it a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
But,
so overall, it just was a great opportunity for us.
Yeah. So you guys all need to stay tuned because we're about to make some really great videos and follow us on, Instagram, TikTok, subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
And yeah, we are so excited to do the next 24 months together.
Yes.
But hopefully documenting a lot of it because I think it'll be so cool to look back on one day and see like all that we went through and how worth it was. So stay tuned, everyone. Thank you for watching. Let us know if you have any questions. We would love to answer those in the comments. And you can always like DM us on Instagram or something.
We're always willing to help.
Yes.
So yes, we can't wait.
Yay.